I've made up the other brake line, and what I've done, I've obviously fitted it. These are still just finger tight, you can see that, and still moves, but I've also drilled and tapped and put the pipe clamps in. Same on that end. I don't know if I can see if I can get up there. Yeah, same there, and same on this end. Pipe clamp just there. So the pipe's held in place. So from the top you can see the joint there, but obviously it'll be hard to see when the mudguard's on anyways, but it's secure. Brake line comes across on both sides. So and as I say, I've put, as you know, I've said, I've put the calipers at the front like that, and this one blade nipple at the top, but this one bleed nipples at the bottom. So when I come to bleed this one, I'll have to take it off and turn the caliper upside down to bleed it up. But once it's bled, it'll be fine. So right, so for now that's the brake line job done. Oh, and once I clamped it in down there, you can see it's actually pulled the hose sort of in line over the top of that pivot shaft in the middle there. So once the other side's tightened up, it will not catch on anything. So I'll knock it off for now. I'll ratch out a washer and a split pin, and I'll put this clevis pin in on the brake pedal, and then that's, apart from tightening everything up and bleeding it up, that's the brake line sort of finished for now. Right, back soon. Right, clevis pin in. Pretty straightforward. Just get it to pop through. Put the washer on. Trying not to block your view here. And then pop the split pin in. And what I could do with is just grabbing a set of thingies, so I can turn a set of pliers, just so I can turn the clevis pin. Just turn it so I can split this, the pin. And that's it. Easy as pie. Right. I'm going to knock you off again for now and have a think about my next steps. I'll be back in a minute. Right, I thought about fitting my new exhaust system, and then I remembered I've got an easy pull clutch kit to fit. So while the exhaust's off, it's the ideal opportunity to fit it, so I'm going to do that now. So first I'll just take the dipstick out. And there will be some oil pour out of here when I take the cover off, because I've not drained the transmission fluid out. But I've got the oil tray underneath, you can't see it from there, but, and an oil soak just to catch any, well, I say drips, it'll fucking pour out. Right, so I just cracked the six bolts that hold it in. Right, now that that's off, I'll just break that's it, and there she goes. It's not a massive amount that drains out, but it's quite a bit. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull that out a bit. I'm just going to rest that in the oil tray and let it drain off a little bit. So I'll knock you off for now, and I'll come back when it's drained a bit. Won't be long. Right. First thing you want to do, or the first thing I want to do, is take this clip out. Down there in a rag, and then you can lift this bit out. And one thing you want to be wary of is that you've got your three bearings that sit just in that bit there. Just don't misplace them. So to get it off, just turn, and it just slides off. And then same with that, just push it and it just comes off. Because what we also need to do, and I haven't got the spanner handy, unless there's one under there, it's handy, is I need to unscrew the clutch cable. So what I'll do is I'll lift out that plate with the bearings on and just sit that on there. In fact, I'll sit it down there because no one will drop the fucking bearings in the oil hole. Right, and unscrew the clutch cable. The reason I'm unscrewing the clutch cable will become evident in a minute, but it's to fit a spacer. So I'll just let that hang down a second. Just put that down there, and I shall get the kit. Right, I'll just open this bag. Now, the bag, what comes in the bag is you get a new like pull apart, and then you get if I can get the frigging thing open. You get piece that actually goes up into your handlebar part. So that won't be happening straight away, that one. But then you get a nut and a little screw, and that's the spacer I was on about. That needs to, which I'll put this in now actually. So get your cable, and you've got your O-ring seal. Just lift that off, put your spacer on, and then put your O-ring back on, and basically you can screw the clutch cable back on. If we can get it in line. Come on, you ass. So make sure that when it's tight, you've sort of got it in the right position, and make sure it's up nice and snug. Right, so that's clutch cable back on. So what we'll do next, I'll just put that down there out of the way, grab this bit. Now can't remember which fucking way around it goes now. That must be right. So you position, you've got this bit has like a T on it. So you position that. You've got your grooved side where your bearings sit. That goes on the opposite side and sits up against there, and then you get your black screw, push that through, and then basically you're putting your nut on to this side. But what I'm going to do is just grab some Loctite. I'll just put I'll knock you off, I'll go and find my Loctite, I'll put a little dab on here of Loctite, and then I'll come back. Right, I've put a thing of high strength Loctite. Find the nut. So I'm going to screw the nut on there. And hopefully I've got a spanner. Right, I also need an Allen key, which I'm sure I had kicking about. Let's turn that over. Hopefully one of them will fit. The baby. Right, get that in there and get the spanner in the back. So I'm just going to tighten this up, it'll just be out of view for a second. Just because I can't hold it up, I need basically I need 3 hands. Right, so that's now on. And it locks its cell into that, so it can't move. So I'll just get myself in a more comfortable position. Just put that down there and bring this bit back up. So get your plate with your bearings and put that back in position. Hooking this back onto your... Right, I'll try and do it so you can fucking see what I'm doing. Basically, this bit just hooks in, blocking the fucking view with my finger here, just hooks into the back and pulls up, and that's that. So, now that I've just dropped the balls out, get that ball bearing back in there. And the next thing is to hook this, the bearings have just fucking fell out again, is to hook that in and then swivel the whole lot round. But before you drop it into position, I'm just going to put the bearings keep falling out of the grooves, so just make sure the bearings are in place. Come on, you dick. Right, so the bearings are back in. Just drop that back in your plate and just push it by hand to make sure that it's rotating freely, because then you need to put the circlip back in. So I'll just lower that down there a second. Get the circlip, give it a wipe, even though it's been sat on a clean rag. Right, and then compress your circlip. And then just check that it's all the way in, all around, which it is. And that pretty much is that part of the kit fitted. So what I'm going to do, just because I never thought about getting the gasket out, I'm just going to put this back on for now. I'll not tighten them fully, I'll just nip it so it stops dripping oil. So just put that back on. We'll have a bolt in each end. Oh yeah, fucking nice. One at the other end. No, I'm not tightening these as such, I'm just nipping them up. And the last part of the kit to fit is the bit up by the handlebars. Now, In fact, I might be able to throw the clutch cable over because it's not connected, obviously, because I haven't got any handlebars on at the minute. So if you were doing this from scratch, you would you'd take all the not take it out. You'd loosen your clutch cable up so you had maximum slack. Once you'd done that, you would I'll do that for now. Yeah, once you've loosened your clutch cable up, you would do what I've just done with this bit of the kit. Dipstick back in so nice shit gets in there. Yeah, and if I pull this clutch kit over, clutch cable, that's it. Oh. Might be able to bring this right over into view. Lift this up a touch. So there you got the end of your clutch cable, and that black bit, you'd pull your clutch cable out of your housing and just put the black bit in, and it slips onto there like that, and then that bit obviously goes into the housing. It's just to take up the slack that you've thinged by putting that extra bit in there, so that you've got your spacer in there, and that acts as a bit of a spacer as well, obviously because of the length of the cable. So for now I'll just put that somewhere safe, and then when I put the handlebars back on, we'll put that bit in and we'll adjust the clutch. So that's how easy it is to fit an easy pull clutch kit. Right, catch you next time. Right, I've ratched out a new gasket for this gearbox cover. Just zoom out a touch, seems to have come in a bit. So what I'll quickly do is I'll swap that over and put new gasket in there. I'll do that off camera. Once I've got this done, I'm gonna set to and fit the new exhaust system, but I want to clean the threads off and stuff. So we'll do that after. When I come back, this will be tightened up with the new gasket in, etc. And when I come back, we'll start on the exhaust. Now the reason I want the exhaust in now, I'll still be able to get to this once the exhaust's on. So when I come to tighten all this up, I'll be able to do it. But once the exhaust's fitted, I'm then going to make up a template for these handbrake calipers, get them fitted into place, make up a bracket for them and that. And then I'll need to route my handbrake cables, and I need the exhaust on so that I know where my handbrake can go. So, not used to having to put a handbrake on a fucking bike, so I'll have to figure out where the best place is for putting it. So, as I say, I'll change the gasket on this and then I'll come back. Right, won't be long.